Hello and welcome to In the Tunnel, episode number 28. We've had a little bit of a break between the last few episodes, combination of me being a little sick and work catching up to us.
Yep. Good old-fashioned full-time jobs.
Yup. So let's just get straight on into it. You want to talk about the NHL?
I would love to do nothing more.
Alright.
I really would, but I feel like Sean doesn't believe me sometimes. He doesn't believe my genuine spirit that I have in the optimism that I bring to the table, and I'm bullshit.
Alright, anyway, let's hit the NHL. So let's just go straight. All-Stars are coming up. And we know the last minute have been decided, but we wanted to do this segment. So we are going to basically rate and tell you our reasoning for why we think a certain player should have been or is the representative for the last men of the All-Star tournament for their division.
All right, so let's just throw a disclaimer out here, a little heads up. We anticipated that we were going to be doing this a week ago or, sometime in the past. We're aware, like, if there's any big hockey fans listening, we're aware of what has transpired. I'm not going to say what has transpired for those who don't know, but we are aware. But we said in our last episode that we were going to do this. We were going to create the bracket. We were going to have some fun with this. So, committed to our craft, we did it. And now we're going to go through it, and we're going to bring it all tied in at the end. For those who are and are not aware, everybody gets treated equally as if we all do not know what's going on.
Right. So we're going to kick things off with the Central. So the Central is also the only division that only had 7 people in their last men in vote. And that's because there are only have 7 teams.
Yes. Really pushing for that. Although that'll be interesting because I know we talked realignment a few episodes. The Central's got to get an 8th team. Someone has to move from Pacific
I think
or something
when
Arizona. Seattle comes into. Okay. So in 2 years, we'll keep doing this podcast just so that we can have like 4 8-team brackets. I think it'd be a good idea for continuity of the show.
All right. Yeah. So
anyway,
let's take it away with. I'll start with number 7 because I feel like we should go up. And so 7 in our bracket, we put Tarasenko from St. Louis. Right? And
yeah. Wait, why are we starting at 7?
Because I felt like going from the bottom.
Works for me. I mean,
yeah.
Why start? Yeah.
But yeah, because like usually you'd start with 1 and 8, but we don't have a 1 and 8, so we're going 2 and 7.
All right.
Yeah. So like the reason that Tarasenko's at the bottom is mostly because his team is pretty damn bad.
Mm-hmm.
And that's an understatement. And I mean his stats are decent, but I don't think they're like all-star worthy.
Yeah, so at the time that we made our notes, Tarasenko had 11 goals, 11 assists, and 22 points. I'll be the stat checker here. So, I mean, for a superstar, and that's what Tarasenko was, or is, on a lesser team, yes, but no, we've seen what he's been capable of doing in past years. This is nowhere near it.
Right.
He's on this list because he's a superstar on a lesser team. So they gave him a shot. So, therefore, he was our lowest seed.
Right. And in our bracket, he's against Tyler Seguin, who is on a much better team and is performing to another level.
Right. So stat checker, 13 goals, 23 assists, 36 points at the time that we started we started our game plan sheet. So, I mean, it's a 14-point advantage, and a team that's doing a lot better, it definitely deserves a higher seed from both standpoints that we were looking at in terms of performance and team performance.
Right. And like again, it's just, at least in St. Louis's case, like they had Ryan O'Reilly, who's probably the only person who deserved to be in the All-Star team from that team.
Yeah.
And that, in my opinion, when we made this, was how it's exactly going to go. Like, I didn't see Tarasenko having a shot, so that's also like how much how much of a shot do you think they have went into this bracket also.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why Tarasenko had 7 and Seguin has 2. So
Alright, so now let's move to the 4-5 matchup.
Yep.
And then we'll go down to the so our 4 seed we had Zach Parise, 35 points, but on a team that's been kind of iffy this year. It's at the beginning of the season they were like top 3 in their division, kind of up, but lately, they in the last few weeks it's kind of gone a little downhill. It's a very inconsistent, choppy wave kind of
right
feel to the Minnesota Wild. So it's one of those where you reward individual performance because it's all you really can do, because the team is still figuring out their performance dynamic.
Right, and like he's played a pretty damn good season to this point.
Right.
But in relation to some of the others on this bracket, we felt like, hey, he has like a middle kind of chance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. So we put him in the middle.
Exactly. And you can say the same thing about Line A.
Right. And I'd say that we praise balance in gameplay. Obviously, goal scorers score more goals. Assist guys get more assists. But
and then you have defensemen who just get less of both on average.
Right, but I think you and I both have a mutual respect for those who bring their stats and contribute the same selfish or not unselfish. Hold on. They contribute unselfishly, but also know when to shoot. They score and also dish them out. They play the game right and have balance to it. Like a McDavid or a Crosby or a Matthews. It's the do-it-all guy. So I think in that sense, we put Parise above Line A because Line A at 24 goals, 7 assists.
Right.
I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't want to speak on behalf of you.
Oh, no. I agree. Like, Parise's game was more rounded. I agree with that. And you're looking at All-Stars. All-Stars, like, I mean, you have the Ovechkins of the world who, like, gets 30 goals and 0 assists. But then you also have others who do either, like, even split or, 0 goals and 30 assists. Like,
yeah, it's a mixed bag, but that's what makes bracket forecasting and predictions all that much more fun. But speaking of one of those more balanced guys, let's move to the 3-6 matchup. We have Jonathan Toews of the Blackhawks and Philip Forsberg of the Predators. So Forsberg, 14 goals, 8 assists, 22 points. Jonathan Toews, 16 goals, 20 assists, 36 points. And that's for a team like the Blackhawks who are in a rebuild. They're like, obviously they still are trying to remain competitive because that's what they've been used to for the past X amount of years. Right. But it's still Jonathan Toews.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair though, he's still he's getting older, but he's still performing at a level above most.
Right, exactly. And he's getting older, as is Crosby, as is Ovechkin, as are all these other guys. Where, Toews was in the top 10 list the same time as those guys were in their prime. I'm not going to say that the Blackhawks having a down year is an excuse for him doing bad. But I'm not going to sit here and say, like, because he's getting older, that's an excuse
No, but I
for
mean,
performance on an individual.
he also Taze is the one of the duo in Kane and Taze. Kane is the scorer. Taze is the helper. So when the
Right.
team is
I
on a
understand
slump,
that, but when
Taze
go
takes the
ahead,
hit.
and that's fine. But what are Kane's numbers?
I don't even know.
Why don't you tell us about why we had Landeskog at number one while I look up Kane's numbers?
Okay, so at least for me, Landeskog was number one because not only did he put up the better numbers out of everybody else on this chart, but his team is doing really, like, I think the Avalanche are surprising a lot of people, and
Mm-hmm.
it shows in how the rest of his team is performing too. And even at his scoring level, they still have others who are close to there. So it's a lot of a team game, and they're all feeding off each other. But still, it doesn't take away from him.
Yeah, I mean it's a team leader kind of
Right.
like as he goes, the team goes, and that kind of productivity feeds for the other lines.
Mm-hmm.
Getting back to Kane, he's played in 47 games, 27 goals, 37 assists, and 64 points. Now, if you're going to tell me that Taves is the assist guy of that duo, 27 goals isn't exactly, anything to sneeze at this point in the season for any individual on the Blackhawks.
Right. But I mean, like, it's just how it has happened though. Like, Taze isn't the front runner in scoring out on that team most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I'm just speaking from history, I guess.
Oh, it definitely it kind of has a Tarasenko kind of feel to it. Whereas like Taves is a superstar, one of the NHL 100 guys at this, and
Yep.
you can't leave him off, especially because it's like who else on the Blackhawks is there to put on this list?
Right. Right.
But
Yeah,
at the same time, a down year for Taves is better than some of these other guys. So,
oh yeah. I mean, there are times when you look at like it's the middle of the season. How are we voting on somebody who has 22 points? That's like less than half the games played, less than
mm-hmm.
half of the number of games played they have. Right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's that to this one too. It's like there's a pretty steep cliff for some of the lower guys, especially in the Central, right, with Forsberg and Tarasenko at the time we did stats was 22 points each.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
all right.
Like, I mean, I fully expect when I saw this bracket that even though Sagan, in my opinion, was really close, I fully expect that Landeskog wins it. What about you?
Let's see. So let's do a little forecasting of the bracket. Let's play this out a little bit. I think clearly you take Sagan over Tarasenko. You take Taves over Forsberg.
Right.
And this is like the most straightforward of the four divisions. I feel like all the upper seeds go ahead because the statistical differences in the 5 versus the 4, the 6 versus the 3, and the 7 versus the 2 are all different, so
right.
low enough in terms of
in
comparison that you just move all the top 4 seeds. I think Landeskog takes out Parise easily. Taves and Sagan, I think it gets a little interesting there because, I mean, it is Taves, but at the same time, it's a down year Taves and it's an up year Sagan. So I think you go Sagan. You have a 1 versus 2, Landeskog and Sagan.
Yeah, I think Landeskog edges.
Yeah.
I think Landeskog edges Sagan at the end.
Yeah, I just think it's I mean, it's 45 points versus 36 points. So it's a 9-point difference, and we're talking again about the team leader dynamic and how the Avalanche are impressing. It's hard for the fan base to not, deserve someone else in the game.
Right. Yeah, so for the Central, we predict that our bracket's number 1 goes
Landeskog.
Yeah. All right, so on to the Atlantic. All right, so we have one of the 3 divisions that have 8.
Yes.
So do you want to start from the top down?
Yes, and I think we should do that going forward.
Yes.
All right. So, Braden Point, number 1 from the Lightning. He has 23 goals, 29 assists, 52 points. At the time, against number 8 seed Shea Weber.
Do we need to talk about him?
No. So this is like the set is it's really like another 17 bracket because Shea Weber. Come on. Like, no, definitely not Shea Weber. Mark Stone versus Dylan Larkin. I mean, they're 2 bad teams. They're 2 individuals who are performing pretty good. So you have Mark Stone who has 45 points, and you have Dylan Larkin who has got 39.
Right.
It's really hard. You can't really pick a winner here. I mean, you can. I guess you can't really pick a loser, but they both really are.
Yeah.
It's like no way I can angle these words where it doesn't sound corny. Number
right,
3 seed, Jeff Skinner of the Sabres with his 39 points versus Alexander Barkov, who's also 39 points.
Uh-huh.
But the difference is good team versus bad team.
Oh, yeah.
So I think you got to go Skinner there. And then you got Morgan Rielly against Patrice Bergeron. Now, Morgan Rielly's got 44 points, and Patrice Bergeron has 33 points. Morgan Rielly is a defenseman. So, right there, the
That's
defenseman
like a 10-point boost.
Well, it really should. It's an 11-point boost, but in terms of like equivalencies, it might as well be like a 25-point boost.
Exactly. What I'm saying is, he's a defenseman. He might as well have 10 more points on top of
it. Exactly. So I think you got to go Rielly. I
think just Rielly is so much better in the bottom of the matchup, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where Point has the same kind of leverage over Weber, but that's because Weber has played like 16 games or something. Ridiculously small.
Right. So we'll let the fans choose Mark Stone versus Dylan Larkin because
Point's going to win that anyway.
Well, that's what I'm saying is choose your own path on who wins between the 4 and 5 Stone and Larkin. And know from us when we tell you that Braden Point beat him.
Yeah.
And then now we get a little interesting. We got Jeff Skinner versus Morgan Rielly.
Right, yeah.
This is a tough one. You can't really go wrong here.
Yeah, I know. And see, Skinner is so surprising in the fact that how well he's doing with the young team as the Sabres are, but I don't think I can turn away from the fact that Morgan Rielly has 44 points and as a defenseman and is not in the All-Star game unless he makes it in through last minute.
Yeah. I mean, if there's anyone who deserves to make it, it's Morgan Rielly or Jeff Skinner. But if only one of them can make it...
Yeah, I mean...
Especially with that whole Braden Point thing being there, that's tough.
Yeah, like, Point, Rielly, and Skinner, they all should make the All-Star team. They've all played so well. But
yeah, exactly.
It's one of them, and it sucks having to, like, chop Skinner or Rielly off here.
Yeah, but it has to be done. So, who are you picking?
I like Rielly.
All right. So, Rielly over the feel-good story.
Yeah. But then I think Rielly takes the full thing if I were to choose.
Right. I was about to say the same thing. I think based on the equivalency we put into and the statistical imbalance for a defenseman versus a forward, it's really like more like neck and neck
Right.
between Riley and Point. So I think you got to take Morgan Riley. You got to take the extra defenseman because,
Yeah.
especially if your defenseman puts up these kinds of numbers offensively, it might as well be like in an All-Star game. He's just another forward anyway.
Basically, I mean, they
might
play
as
with
well,
3-on-3.
Yeah, exactly. So you might as well have some fun with like the imbalanced roster and like be like, oh, look what we're doing.
We're gonna play 2 defensemen this shift. Oh wait, they're both forward.
We're gonna play 4 defensemen. Ooh, look at this! It's just like 4 defensemen and 1 forward. It's like, check this out. This is something else.
Yeah.
We'll see this again.
So yeah, we have, at least I think, and I think you concur with me, that Riley. I mean, I really thought it was between Riley and Skinner more so, but I think Riley is the better player in this bracket.
It's on us. We created this bracket.
Right. I know.
we did not think this through if we were going to try to make like Riley and Skinner in the final 2.
Right, but I think Riley edges it out anyway because
we put in the show description when we first started this podcast. We don't exactly always know where we're going with this. We thought it was a good idea at the time. It doesn't always work out. So we're just going with it. Yeah, we're having fun. And we hope you are.
All right.
Because we love you and we care about you.
So you want to move on?
Yeah. I think the more I talk, the worse it's going to get.
All right. So now we're on the Metro. So I think before we even start, I'm going to do the same thing we did last bracket and just throw away the number 8 seed.
Yeah.
Matt's Zuccarello.
Well,
I'm sorry, any Rangers fan that might be listening.
They're fine. They probably gave up on the season like 5 weeks ago.
Yeah, so Backstrom...
14 points is not worthy enough of making an All-Star game.
No way.
I mean, I saw a stat. The 2 Sharks defensemen in the past 10 games have had more points than that. In the last 10 games, apiece.
Yeah.
Defensemen.
Yeah, but so anyway, Backstrom moves to face Lee or Teravainen.
This is, Anders Lee, 27 points versus Teravainen, who had 29 points.
I like Teravainen, actually.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah.
Lee has more of the balanced stat line, but I think that the Hurricanes, they're not supposed to be as good as they are. And while the Islanders are playing better than anticipated too.
I don't think it's Anders Lee, though, that you can say they're
right.
playing better.
I don't think that he. Right. This is again one of those, you need the second candidate because your main guy Barzal is in. I'm assuming it's Barzal.
Yeah.
And then, so it's like, who's next on the stat sheet? Anders Lee or someone like that.
Right.
And this is where the last minute it needs to get a little bit better. You need like a fan favorite or something.
Right.
Something that like fan bases can campaign behind.
But that's why like Chicago chooses Jonathan Toews.
Yeah, it is. But it's also because like for Chicago, it's like a no-brainer to pick Jonathan Toews.
Yeah. I think Teravainen goes on.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah. All right, 3-6. Kyle Palmieri of the Devils and Voracek from the Flyers.
Yeah. All right, so I gotta give it to Palmieri. I mean, I hate the Flyers first of all.
I'm kind of a biased Devils fan, so.
Yes, but you're also like the most like critical Devils fan. When they suck, you're the most honest person about it.
I mean, I do dislike the Flyers pretty openly. I think that's why Voracek is down here.
Yeah, I really thought you were about to say you have a soft spot for Jacob Voracek.
What? Are you kidding me?
Hey man, I have no idea where you're going with this.
Oh my god. So I'm sorry, Jacob Voracek, but you have 2 hosts that just don't like you.
Yeah, I mean, Isn't it funny? I've known you since first grade. I can't read your mind on a Flyers thing.
Come on, man.
Makes for great comedy, though.
All right, and
It's like
I'll take
self-deprecating humor. It always plays.
So then we have Letang from the Penguins and I can't even pronounce that.
Foligno
from the Blue Jackets.
I mean, it's Letang.
Yeah, Letang.
It has to be.
It has to be. Foligno is like the third.
He's a 15-point,
yeah,
statistical advantage, and he's a defenseman.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, Letang wins that. So
and then he has to beat Palmieri, right?
Oh yeah, definitely.
All right.
I'm a realist, okay?
You're not. Yeah, this is. Sean is like the most like realistic, pessimistic, optimistic, depending on where the Devils are at guy. It's like cheer up, man. Is like no, they just suck this year. It's like how I am as a Pirates fan.
Yeah, but your team sucks like all the time. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's what makes it justified.
Yeah, but I still haven't seen the optimistic part of your Pirates fandom.
2013 was a long time ago. Hard to believe that was 6 years ago.
Yeah.
Anyway.
All right, so
back to the bracket.
Teravainen and Backstrom. I'm sorry, Teravainen. As much as I like the Canes, Backstrom. I mean, even though Ovechkin was voted captain and they replaced him with Kuznetsov, I think.
Yeah, someone like that.
Backstrom is the third, and he's still doing really good.
Yeah.
And I just can't. The difference in statistics.
I cannot take away from what you have given us.
Yeah. And then
Backstrom and Letang, we got another Pens cap thing. Well, woo. Old news, new news.
But I wouldn't put a third, another cap in there because they have Holtby and Kuznetsov, right?
So what you're saying is you're going to give the Penguins, you're going to give it to Letang based off of like the representation of the team,
right?
All right, I'm fine with that. I would have said Backstrom just off of off the stats, and also that Letang, hasn't scored a lot of goals this year.
But he doesn't need to.
Yeah.
He fulfills his job perfectly. And that's there as much as if Teravainen did other things aside from put up points, maybe, but Letang does other things and it's not scoring that he's good at.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah.
There is the non-point side to hockey, and I'm partial to that type of I
he's
like
logging a lot of time on
game every once in a while where defense shows and all that. So that's more of why I chose Letang.
Yeah, and he's logging a lot of minutes on ice.
Right. So
every game is.
Yeah, but that's why I choose Letang. You can choose Backstrom if you want, but I didn't think you would go against.
Maybe I will.
All right. So, let's finish it off with the Pacific. All right. So.
All right.
Let's
get Hawaiian.
We had Draisaitl against Kopitar.
Yeah.
I don't. Okay, so this is the actual one where I'm not just going to throw away Kopitar at the beginning.
Okay, well, I will.
Okay.
No, just playing around, but why don't you explain to me why this isn't a throwaway? Despite the fact that the Kings are absolute trash.
Right, they're absolute trash, but he's still, for being that bad, he's playing, or his point totals are decent for a team playing that bad. I'm not saying he's going to beat Draisaitl, but it's not like Shea Weber, has 11 points or whatever.
I mean, it's a 35-point difference.
Oh yeah, no. I'm saying that Draisaitl will win, but I'm not saying that you can just toss Kopitar, even though he's gonna lose. It's not as bad as Zuccarello in the bracket or Weber in the bracket.
Yeah,
that's all I'm saying.
Yeah. So Draisaitl.
Yeah, Draisaitl makes it past, right?
Yeah.
And then, so the 4-5 matchup is Marchessault and Besser.
All right.
You want to go stats?
This is all right. So Besser has 14 goals, 14 assists, 28 points, and Marchessault 13 goals, 17 assists, 30 points. This one's close.
I
think
am
I go
more
Besser.
partial to Besser.
Ooh, wow. We're just not. Other than the Backstrom Letang thing, we've pretty much swept the board so far.
Yeah.
All right, so we both go Besser. I mean, Marchessault, he hasn't earned the big money yet.
Yeah.
I would have needed to see more out of him.
And
I mean, we would have put him at like a 3 seed if that, but like still, like the stats justify the placement.
Also, I just think watching Besser play is more entertaining. And this is an all-star game. It's about a show.
Yeah, exactly.
So even though Besser has 2 points lower, it's not enough to make up for an entertainment factor that this provides or tries to provide.
Let's not forget, Las Vegas is a show in itself.
Yeah.
They don't need Marchessault to be the show. The whole city is a show.
Yeah.
In Vancouver, Besser.
Well, and Pettersson, but Besser.
Pettersson's already in. We don't need to worry about that.
Yeah, I know. Besser.
All right.
All right. So 3-6. So Couture.
Yeah, it's Couture.
Yeah, he has home.
I mean, home field advantage. Because it's the All-Star game is in San Jose.
Yep.
B, it's a guy who's like a statistical, like he puts up the big numbers or is capable of said numbers, versus Ryan Getzlaf, who's more like a leader who doesn't put up the numbers.
Right. He's the tough guy presence. Getzlaf is more of a tough guy presence than the like scoring presence that. That Couture brings. So
yeah, I really should have put like just a picture of Ryan Getzlaf without the eye guard and just be like, that's enough. Like, I mean, it really is. The eye guard is all you need to know about if a player like is old school or not.
Yep.
All right. So Mark Giordano, the defenseman of 38 points, is the 2 seed, and then we have OEL, Oliver Ekman Larson, is the 7th seed, representing the Coyotes of Phoenix or Arizona and whatever town, state that they're coming from these days.
This one, it's a defenseman matchup, and Giordano wins it hands down.
Yep.
As much as like I like watching Ekman Larson, Giordano's just had a phenomenal
I think that Ekman Larson, I mean, he's underrated, but at the same time, he was one of those big guys that when he first came out of the league was supposed to be like one of the next big things, and because of the inability to develop as a team with the Coyotes, it just never happened.
That's just the Coyotes' problem, though. Sorry.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Is like, he could have been so much better if the team around him was so much better. But, like, now the capabilities are what they are. He is the finished product now.
Right. All right, so let's take the 2-3 matchup, I guess. Couture versus Giordano. What do you think?
I go Giordano.
Yeah, so do I.
I think that
as much as
to get in.
As much as, like, I believe, like, hometown, you know, like, they would push Couture through, I think Giordano deserves it more.
Yeah.
And then Draisaitl versus Besser.
Ooh.
Can you give me stats on both of them?
Yeah. So both are of Canadian teams, so I mean this really turns rivalry into war. I mean, to tell you the truth. So Draisaitl, you got your 22 goals, your 29 assists, your 51 points, and then your Bossler, you got your 14 goals, your 14 assists in 20. I mean, he's near.
Can Can we get
nearly half the assists and 8 less goals?
can we get the point totals minus Connor McDavid?
Ooh, I don't. I mean, I can look up McDavid's stats. I can't tell you off a Google search like how many of Draisaitl's stats include McDavid.
I bet
I
you.
feel like I need like 4 days to do.
Yeah, but I bet you a fair amount of the assists can be chopped if we're talking McDavid.
Okay, fine. Why
But
don't you give me an estimate? Give me a fraction estimate that it is, and we'll,
no, but I'm saying like because as much as I would love to see Besser in the All-Star game, there's no
Mhm.
way you're beating Draisaitl, even though his stats are basically inflated by McDavid.
Fine, Draisaitl. I mean, I was opening the door to like let's do a little fantasy like possible upset opportunity here,
Yeah,
but if you don't
but,
want
like,
to, if
you
you
can
don't want to
take
go
away-
down this road,
You can
Fine.
take away 60% of Draisaitl's points if you take away all the ones that are connected to McDavid. Probably more.
Mhm.
Okay? But still, it's Draisaitl that's going to win
Yeah.
that. But
Unfortunately,
I would choose Giordano over Draisaitl.
yeah. I told you the baker always wins. I will die with this joke.
Oh boy. All right,
Hey,
so
hey,
so to recap, right? We had Landeskog in the Central.
mm-hmm.
We chose Riley.
Yeah,
in the
Morgan
Atlantic.
Riley. Mm-hmm.
Then I forced you to choose Letang in the Metro.
How dare you choose me to pick a Penguins player?
And then we're both choosing Giordano in the Pacific.
Because he makes really good pizzas.
Of course. But so now let's reveal exactly how the last man in vote went.
Yeah, exactly. So this is how it happened because the fans do matter, much like to our show and our audience. The fans do matter to the NHL, and especially with a fan vote. Well, da-da-da-lon, here we are. Here are your winners. So it's not all ones and twos out there.
Yeah.
There's a 3.
1-3 in the Metro. And it's the
No.
only guy we were talking about.
A 2 was
No,
in the Metro.
Skinner. It's
Skinner was
3.
a 3 in the Atlantic.
Oh, right. I'm dumb. Right. Anyway, so Skinner, but he was the only 3 we were talking about, though, right? Like, heavily.
Heavily.
Yeah. So I mean, I can
The
see him winning,
feel-good sensation of the summer.
but then again, like, if it were up to us, it would have been Morgan Riley. But it's not up to us; it's up to the collective.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
I mean, we
Letang
are
won.
fans, but
Letang won just like we would have. I guess the majority
I
agreed with
guess.
us.
I thought you were saying the majority of us. It's like 1 of 2. The majority wins.
And then Landeskog was the
Runaway.
only 1 seed that we chose, right?
Draisaitl.
one.
Or no, we picked Giordano. Sorry, I'm
Giordano's
looking
the 2
at
seed.
this graphic.
Huh?
I'm looking at this graphic. I'm not looking at the brackets right now.
Yeah, no. So Landeskog is from the Central. We picked him to win.
Yes,
And he's the only 1 seed we actually picked.
correct.
Yeah. And then we picked Letang, but we were wrong on Skinner and Draisaitl.
Yep, 2 for 4. That's not bad for us.
Yeah.
I'd say, I mean, our ability to predict things has not always worked out well. So
But hey, 50% is pretty good.
yeah, just wait for when it comes time for doing like a March Madness show. We have to up our game up to like 80%.
Jeez.
If we could have the perfect bracket in the country, and we'll do like an in the tunnel bracket challenge or something,
Yeah,
I think that would be fun.
that'd be fun.
But
All right.
that's in 2 months.
Yeah, we got
I'm
time.
looking forward to that. That will be fun.
Yeah.
We'll have to like do like me with like the tablet pen. We'll just fill out a bracket or something
Yeah.
on the go. All right. Anyway,
All right.
hockey.
So that's the All-Star game. Any like hockey related news you want to bring up?
The Pens acquired some guy. They traded with the Ducks again. I don't know.
Yeah, not that important.
Blandini. I don't know. Blandini, the magician or whoever is it. I don't know.
Did
Some
they
dude
acquire
who-
Blandisi?
Or is it Blandisi? Joe Blandisi or
Yeah.
something? Yeah. He was in the AHL. I don't know.
Yeah, he was a Devil.
Ooh, is he any good?
Not really. He's a career
Oh,
AHLer, in my opinion.
well, he's supposed to play tomorrow for the Big Penguins.
He has a couple of games experience. He isn't like
oh boy.
he's not like terrible, but I don't think his skill translates to the NHL well.
Mm-hmm.
He was also known to embellish quite a bit. When he was on the Devils, at least, he had like 4 embellishment penalties in like
just
one
what the
season.
Penguins need is another person that gives the reputation that we embellish. Like the whole Crosby thing wasn't enough. Now we get this guy.
Yeah, but how many games is he actually going to play for
I don't know. Probably get sent down to AHL eventually.
you? Yeah.
The plane ticket was to Pittsburgh. He practiced with the team. He'll play tomorrow night. Some guy will come back from injury if they have guys on injured reserve or something, and then he'll be gone.
Yep.
All right. Any other stuff you want to touch on?
No.
All right.
Let's get to football.
Yeah.
So, football with a
big NFNL.
Yeah, and then the actual ball off to the side.
The ball, the goalpost. It's a real thing,
All right, so let's start with the AFC.
Yeah.
It is KC and New England. 1 and 2 seed. No, not really much of a surprise.
Although it is a surprise that New England was as good as they were last weekend.
Yeah, I agree, but I didn't.
think we all thought the Chargers had a better shot than that.
But I thought New England would win, but I didn't think it was by 19 points or whatever it was.
Just say a blowout. I mean, the 19 points was like garbage time touchdowns that don't mean anything.
Yeah, true. And then
Kansas City, they beat the Colts, which, Kansas City really ran them up.
Yeah.
The Colts couldn't stop Kansas City on defense.
Mm-hmm.
So, which is a shame because the Colts defense in the later half of the regular season looked pretty good.
Yep.
But it all kind of came crashing down.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I will say this as a Steelers fan about the Patriots. To any NFL team, stop playing zone coverage against Tom Brady. For the love of God. It's like, how do you guys not know by now? The guy rips apart zone coverage. It's been 20 years now. You're like, oh, I bet we're going to fool him this time. No, it's not going to work. Stop doing it. Play man coverage and just make adjustments.
Right.
Do what you're supposed to do. There's a coaching staff for every team, I would assume. Do something with that kind of personnel. This whole, we're going to, put our corners 8 yards away from the receivers. And it'd be like, oh, would you look at that? They hit them with another, 5-yard gain. And they just keep going 5 yards up the field. It's like, stop doing what you're doing. It's not working.
Yep.
With these little dip and duck passes that only go for 6-7 yards, you would think it would only take a drive or two to realize, okay, this doesn't work. The Chargers played it for 3 quarters.
Yep.
Stop doing what you're doing. Do things that make sense.
I mean, I'm not going to say stop playing zone coverage. I'm going to say put man coverage into that defensive scheme more often.
Yeah, more than half the time.
Because there is times when zone coverage is the right call.
Yeah, first down.
And, I'm going to say, what do you think about the game? Do you think New England takes it, or?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I'm at the point now, and Steelers fans will hate me. If Tom Brady needs one more Super Bowl to win, if Brady and Belichick need to win one more Super Bowl for them to retire and just go on into their fields of just walk away from the game, then just give it to them.
Yeah, but that's not
Because,
going to happen.
Well, but the thing is if they lose in the Super Bowl, Sean, they're only going to come back the next year that much more angry. They're more likely to walk away satisfied than they are to walk away disappointed. That's just not what Brady and Belichick have done in their career.
True.
So
But I'm going to say Kansas City.
If it takes letting them win to walk away, let them win. I hope Kansas City wins because I would love to see New England just not in the Super Bowl at all. Nothing would make me happy. But, as a Steelers fan, there's just no win. They're like, tie the 6 Super Bowls that the Steelers have, or like they just keep coming and like taking the Steelers out every year.
Right.
There is no winning this.
Yeah. I mean, that's your team's problem. But I want Kansas City to win. I picked them to go to the Super Bowl, so why stop now? So there you go. But I do agree that it's going to be tough, and I do think New England is probably favored, even though it's in KC, right?
Yeah, it's supposed to be really cool.
Yeah.
Like, possibly a lot of snow, I'm not sure. But there's like a winter storm that's coming through in the next few days, so we'll see how that goes. It should make for an entertaining product.
Right. Okay, so let's hit the NFC.
Oh, and by the way, we'll touch on this later. I'm gonna try my best to record that game in case we need material for next week because a certain who is a commentator in that game.
Oh God. Okay.
We'll get to that in a few minutes.
All right. Yeah. So NFC though, New Orleans and Los Angeles.
Yes.
I'm not surprised either.
Yeah.
I really thought it was like once I saw the bracket, I was like, both bye teams make it.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah. So the thing is like, I mean, both even record and
Yep.
They played each other, and that game could have gone either way.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, this is the more of a toss-up. I mean, they're both toss-ups in a sense. I feel like the Kansas City New England product, we are less certain about like where that can go than this one. I think this one we both agree is kind of more of a shootout.
Yeah.
And I think there's a little bit of a defensive presence to both these teams, but not enough to where it's not enough to where it's limiting the scoring potential.
Yeah, but because like I was watching the New Orleans game and their secondary got.
Did you remember the last game?
Yeah, but their roster on defense is really good.
Yeah, but like
but they already played each other 4 weeks ago.
Yes,
like, that was the highest scoring game of almost all time.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like, yeah, and then
Nick's got a point.
Secondary has been getting quite a few penalty calls.
I have a feeling if it goes like that again, it's gonna be a hell of a game.
It should be a hell of a game.
Yeah, that's what we're hoping.
I'm pulling for Los Angeles. My roommate's from.
I got New Orleans,
and I support my roommate.
I got New Orleans. So we're split.
Okay, fine. We'll see who wins, Sean.
All right.
Go down, Sean.
Yeah, Nick says you're going down. Take it or leave it.
All right, I'm sticking with my Super Bowl prediction from like week 4. Okay.
Fine. What, the Colts?
No, it was New Orleans and KC.
Sure it was. Did you actually go back and like and figure out what it was? I don't even remember what mine was.
I've been saying the same teams basically the entire time. So.
Oh well, that must be nice. My consistency was I never put the Steelers in my Super Bowl prediction. Like,
loyal fan.
Yeah. Well, come on. Need nothing more be said. I think it worked out exactly how I pictured it was gonna.
All right, so you want to talk about that commentator we were?
Oh yeah. So the commentator that we were alluding to earlier. So this guy's going to be coming back next week and doing the AFC game. It's Tony Romo. the gift that keeps on giving because he just says the most stupid things. And I'll definitely be trying to record the AFC Championship game to try to get more. So we're just going to go through some Romoisms, and I have a bonus. His partner, Jim Nance, also had a stupid one. Do you want your Nance one first or your Romo one first?
Let's go Nance, because then the Romos are just out there.
So this one takes place at the end of the game when Jim Nance says that the Patriots, in a total of 9 home games, trailed for 7 minutes total all year. 3 minutes and 47 seconds in the first half against the Chiefs, and 3 minutes and 13 seconds during the final quarter against the Chiefs in that same game. And then he made sure to throw in, that means that there are 8 home games, they never trailed. It's like, no crap. Like, it's 60 minutes per game, and they've played 9 games at home. I can figure it out. This is like, is wildly stupid, but not as stupid as some of the ones that we're about. So these are the Romoisms that I picked up, and I'm sorry that I did not get them all, but I'm going to try to. So first one is he said when the Patriots played the Chiefs earlier this year that Bill Belichick told his team that they were going to have to, quote, let the Chiefs run for over 100 yards to win the game.
Wait.
Why? What? Why would you let the other team succeed at something? That makes it, it's mind-boggling. All right. Then we have, he said at the end of the game of the AFC and NFC championship games to happen this week, that the best teams in the NFL are all here at the end of the season. Yeah! They didn't put the losing teams in the championship
We don't
games.
Have the Oakland
That's
Raiders
the
in the
point.
playoffs.
The
because
teams
they're not
playing the best are still in the playoffs. Are we, like, this is the kind of stuff that's, like, are you really surprised that Tony Romo didn't make it to a Super Bowl in his play? He must have thought that he was playing against the worst teams in the playoffs. And then, surprise, surprise, the Packers beat him every time.
All right, you want to get to the last one?
Oh, there's 2 more.
Oh, there's 2 more.
All right, so he said of Tom Brady still being in the game with 4 minutes left when they were up 41-22. Of course he's still in the game because that's what we do. We play football as long as there's a game on, we go out and play. Yeah! What are you expecting, the team to go home? It's like, yeah. I mean, like, the guys that are on the Chargers don't have the choice to go back to the hotel during the game. They're kind of there. And yes, they play, it's their profession. They get paid to play the game. How is it that they wouldn't be out there playing?
Especially in a playoff scenario. Even
exactly.
If you're up a lot, you're not sitting.
Playing for pride, too.
Even if you're up like 30 points, you're not sitting.
Exactly. And finally, this is the best one of all. Why the Chargers went for 2 after scoring a late fourth quarter touchdown. Jim Nance turns to him and asks, why do you think the Chargers are going for 2? And Romo says, because being down 19 points is less than 20.
No. Oh my.
I mean, this is high grade. I mean, this is why he came from, was it like Eastern Michigan or something like? He went to such a small school. He must have been like hitting the books really hard instead of being on one of those Power 5 conference football teams. It's like, no crap, 19 is less than 20. It's as if we needed any help differentiating. I mean, unless it's like Tony Romo's kids and they're like, they're homeschooled and they learn from like football game tape. Just a lesson plan in here. By the way, 19 is less than 20. You know, make sure you put your greater than or less than sign in the middle. It's like, this is the kind of stuff that makes me give up on society. It really is. These are the people that we've hired to tell us and commentate and give us perspectives that we don't know of. They have the access to resources and the time to put those resources into a commentary that we don't have. 19 is less than 20.
I'm pretty sure a majority of the population can figure that out.
Yeah. What are you going to tell me next? Is like the wheel is round? I'm sorry. Like, he's like the best comedian going right now. He's obviously not trying.
You can't deny that his commentating is funny.
I think that if someone put together a YouTube of like just his commentary, it would go viral. It has to.
Yeah.
All right. So now we go back to hockey because I think you had a little bit of a commentating deluxe special too.
Yeah. So actually, I think we originally found Romo's stuff because I was talking that in a recent, actually it's not that recent anymore, but the Kings and Pitt game, Snoop Dogg, commentated. Yeah. I have to say,
put him in the booth. Why not?
That is some of the weirdest commentation I've heard in sports.
We need to give the pretense to this too. So when the All-Star game was in Los Angeles a couple of years ago, Snoop Dogg was hired to be like the pregame DJ, and like big trouble ensued because he did not put the clean version of songs into what he brought to the arena in his playlist. He put in the explicit content versions and blared them in front of 20,000 people. And then on the PA during the All-Star game, they had to apologize for what had happened.
Yep.
Because Snoop Dogg was, didn't bring the family-friendly music to the games. Now, 3 years later, is it? Or, a couple of years later. Now we're going to put his actual words on television.
Hey, they were hilarious.
All right, well, let's jump into it then. Why don't you give me a little update?
But it's just the fact that he's trying to be like so in with all the sports, right? Mm-hmm. Yet he has absolutely no idea what's going on. So he doesn't even have to try and be funny.
Not that Snoop Dogg is listening, but the dude's got to stop rooting for so many different teams. You got to pick one and just be like, I'm a fan of this. You can't be a Steelers fan, a Raiders fan, and like 4 other teams. You got to just pick one. And the same goes for any other sport. Like, I get that you don't watch hockey that much, probably. But this one's, I mean, you'll get into it, but it's comical.
He literally was just like, oh, and this guy's just going around. And then he's like, oh, and then he knows like one player on the Penguins. Literally one.
He knows like one player on the Kings who's like, is Quick still our goalie?
Yeah. And then he's like oh, and Doughty. And I was like, you can't even say Doughty.
I was like, who's number 3 on our team? He said that as they were getting into a scrum, right? He was like, who's number 3?
Like, oh my god, people just jumped over the bench.
It's like,
come on, like, take 2 seconds to realize how this game works.
Especially when you're in the booth with the broadcasters. You'd think that they'd have a box score, like, like sheets in front of them, just like, this is the roster for this team. This is the roster.
I mean,
like, you're not being seen. Like, just look down and say it.
Usually, they'll at least have the roster for the opposing team, the team they're not commentating for.
Right. I mean, he had the resources to play it better. Let's be real.
I mean, names. I'm not super like annoyed that he doesn't know all the names. That's fine. Whatever. But like at least know how the game works in a basic level.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he's the person who's never watched hockey before who's like looking for the fight. Mm-hmm. It's like, oh, I want to see someone rough someone else. It's like that doesn't really happen as much as you think.
Right, but like if you're if you're not into hockey, that was pretty funny. But
Yeah.
like at the same time, he's trying to like show that he likes all sports, and he's not doing a good
And
job of
failing to
it.
do so. Yeah, balanced attack, you know.
Yeah.
Except no.
So I mean, and that's what we got into Tony Romo. But Tony Romo at least knows
Yeah.
his dang sport.
Well, yeah, because he played it.
Yeah.
Snoop Dogg, although Snoop Dogg did send a kid to like UCLA to play football, and then he dropped out. But
Right.
this obviously is not that sport either.
Yeah.
Whew! Oh man,
All right. So
that was a lot of fun.
yeah. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in, and
Yeah.
see you guys next episode.
Yeah, we're gonna have a lot of fun with next week's episode. So.
All right. Yep. Thanks. Thanks
Let's
everybody for
do it.
tuning in. Bye bye.
Bye.